And then there's Jacinda Ardern, who did, basically her best impersonation. I think Chris Ullman tweeted this out, of the Love Actually confrontation between Hugh Grant as the Prime Minister of the UK and Billy Bob Thornton as a recalcitrant American president. Anyway, she, of course, is trying to fight an election, trying to, nothing to see here that her Deputy Prime Minister, the very person who put her into power, whose price for going into power was immigration cuts, all the rest of it, he became Foreign Minister. He's in a world of pain. So she knows that just like if you're a small Australian state, you beat up on the bigger Australian state, or if you're a state premier, you bash Canberra, well, she was trying to punch up towards the Prime Minister for the horrible sin of deporting New Zealand citizens who commit crimes in Australia. Roll the tape.
Australia is well within its rights to deport individuals who break your laws. New Zealand does the same. But we have a simple request. Send back Kiwis, genuine Kiwis. Do not deport your people and your problems.
Well, there's this bloke who I told you about at the start of the show, Liz, a bloke who was jailed in Western Australia for grievous bodily harm. He was born in New Zealand, so he's a genuine Kiwi, but he's not going to go back because he's been able to find tangential connection to Aboriginality. But I get it. You know, she's the woke queen, perfect example of every foreign leader is better than our domestic leader, and people cheered her on. I thought it was a disgraceful performance that she decided to deliver. And by the way, she didn't just deliver it, in a hall somewhere. She's doing it in the front yard of the Prime Minister's house.
Yeah, exactly, Paul. To be honest, I thought she made a complete fool of herself on the world stage here. If you're actually serious about talking to the Prime Minister of any nation about revisiting their deportation laws, this is the worst possible way to do it if you're serious about making any strides there. This was embarrassing for her, and I'm very glad Morrison just stood his ground. He wasn't taking it one bit from her, and I'm sorry that he didn't actually turn it around and say, while you're at it, stop lecturing us on our emissions. Ours have gone down by 13% in the past 15 years, and yours have gone up by 4% after all your pontificating. So as has been said by the good media, this was an absolute virtue signal to her people. She's in campaign mode, and that's all this was about.
But again, Jim, what pisses me off, and sorry for using such language around such an eminent Australian, but still, what annoys me about this, right? I think you may have heard one or two of those words in your previous life, which is, what annoys me here is that people whose professional job it is to observe politics, rather than saying she's in an election and in her election year she's got some trouble at home, so she's decided to create cover by having a fight with the big brother, that's the story. Instead, Australia's... I mean, this is the same as like every time some foreign minister from Indonesia says something, we take their side in the intelligentsia. How hard is it for people to unite around the idea that the people we're booting out are people who are born in New Zealand who commit violent crimes here, not people who are caught, not paying their parking fines?
It's a hard one to understand, Paul. And people were so desperate that they reverted to the analogy that this is like a rugby mall. Wow, that's great journalism. If this is a rugby mall, then our front row forwards are Dutton and Morrison, and that's not bad, I reckon.